Students, so let us solve NCERT questions from chapter 7 System of Particles and Rotational Motion. Question number 4. Okay, so the question is that show that the area of a triangle contained between the vectors a vector and b vector is 1/2 of the magnitude of a vector cross b vector. So we have to prove basically that the magnitude of a cross b, the half of this, is equal to the area of triangle. Okay, so how will we prove this? So for this we will assume the triangle, okay, having the sides equal to a vector and b vector. Okay, and let us name these points. So this is point number O, P and Q, and we will complete this triangle with this side. So at from point Q we will drop a perpendicular to this, okay, and let that be equal to n. Now Qn represents the height, okay, and OP represents the base of the triangle. Now we know very well what is the area of a triangle. It is the half into base into height. Now before that we have to prove that the magnitude of a vector cross b vector, the half of the magnitude. Okay, so we will find out what is the magnitude first. Okay, so the magnitude of a vector cross b vector can be written as magnitude of a, magnitude of b into sine theta. Okay, and this is nothing but, what is a, children? A vector, the magnitude of a vector will be OP, and b is nothing but OQ. Okay, and then we have sine theta. So OP into OQ into sine theta. Now, what is this OQ sine theta? OQ sine theta represents ON. Yes or no? Because if we consider this as the angle theta, which is the angle between A vector and B vector, okay, so then we can say that ON is equal to, so I'll write here ON is equal to OQ sine theta. Okay, simple as that. Now what we will do, we will just multiply and divide by 2 in order to get the field. So OP into OQ sine theta. So OQ sine theta can be written as ON. Okay, OP into ON, half into base into height. Okay, which is nothing but the area. Okay, so this is area of triangle OPQ. Okay, therefore we can say that the area of triangle OPQ is equal to half into, is this term. Okay, half into OP into ON. Okay, which is nothing but the magnitude of, half of the magnitude of, so this is nothing but half of the magnitude of A vector cross B vector. Okay. So you can have a look of the solution. Next question is that show that A vector dot B vector cross C vector is equal in magnitude to the volume of the parallelepiped formed on the three vectors A, B and C. Okay, so we have to prove that this is equal to the volume. Okay, so what will we do? First I'll draw the diagram for you for the parallelepiped. Okay, so I'm little weak in drawing diagrams, but anyways I'll try. Okay, there we go. So this is your parallelepiped. Okay, somewhat little looks little distorted, but we'll manage. Yeah, so this is B vector, this is your C vector, and this is your A vector. Okay, and here this B vector cross C vector, okay, B vector cross C vector, the magnitude of this is actually the area of the base. Area of base. Okay, so we can clearly see this is the area of base, and the direction will be perpendicular to this base. Okay, and let us say that this angle is theta. Okay, then in that case if I drop a perpendicular from point A, okay, let this be point A, let this be O, let this point be B, and this is C. Okay, so if we drop a perpendicular, what happens is this length, okay, this height will be equal to A cos theta. Okay, so if this is theta, that means this is A, this height I can mark it as N. So I can say that AN is equal to A cos theta. So what we will do, why we have found this? So when we do this derivation A vector dot B vector cross C vector, what will you get? You will get modulus of A vector modulus of B vector cross C vector into cos theta. Okay, so basically we have found out the dot product of B vector cross C vector, okay, and A vector. So for these two, the dot product will be equal to this term, okay, and clearly you can see this is the base area, okay, multiplied by A cos theta. Okay, what is A cos theta? A cos theta is nothing but the height of the parallelepiped. Height of parallelepiped. Okay, so then we can clearly say that A vector dot B vector cross C vector is equal to the volume of parallelepiped. Okay, hence proved. So you can see, have a look. So basically what we have done is we have just found out that B vector cross C vector is the area of the base, and you have to find out the dot product for B vector cross C vector and A vector. So that is what is theta there is given, that is the angle between them, and that A cos theta is the height of the parallelepiped. Solving the next question. 7.6. Find the components along the x, y, z axis of the angular momentum L of a particle whose position vector is r vector with the components x, y, z, and momentum is p with components px, py, and pz. So first we'll solve till here, and then we'll move on to the remaining question. Okay, so first we have to find out the components of x, y, z axis, okay, along the angular momentum. So what we need to do is we need to find out the angular momentum components. Okay, so L vector can be written as Lx into I cap plus Ly into j cap plus Lz into k cap. Okay, then they have given that the position vector is along the x, y, and z axis. So we will have x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap. Okay, then P vector, that is the the linear momentum, will be equal to Px into I cap plus Py into j cap, okay, and Pz into k cap. Clear? Now we have to find out what is the angular momentum. Okay, what is the actual form? So L vector is equal to r vector cross a P vector. Okay, so what will we get? R vector, we have to substitute x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap, okay, cross P vector, that is px into I cap plus py into j cap plus pz into k cap. Now you know how to find out the cross product. Okay, so we have to take the determinant, we have to mark I j k, okay, and then the component of r, that is x, y, and z, component of p, px, py, and pz. Clear? Then finding the determinant, you will be getting, so you have to find the value of the determinant. So you know very well from your mathematics. If you don't know how to find the value of determinant, you can learn, okay, Lz into k cap. So that will be equal to I vector into, what we'll do here, so we have to forget about the row and column contained by I, and then you cross multiply these values. Okay, Pz into y, okay, Pz into y minus Py into z. That is a format. Okay, then since j is at place value is negative, what we will do is we will write minus j vector, okay, into minus j cap into, what we will do, we will forget the component of j, the row and column of j, and then we will multiply pz into x minus px into z. Okay, so I'll write here pz into x minus px into z. Clear? Then final component is k. Okay, so I'll write here plus k vector k cap into the remaining. Okay, so the remaining means what? Py into x minus px into y. Clear? Now these three are this is the angular momentum vector. Okay, so we will write down the component. So Lx is equal to the component of I cap. Okay, so that is equal to pz into y minus py into z. Okay, and Ly is the component of j. So since this is a negative, we will bring the negative inside and make this j as positive. So the component will become px into z minus pz into x. Okay, and the third component, that is Lz, will be equal to x or py into x minus px into y. Okay, now when the second part of the question, so this is actually your three components. That is what they are asked us to find out. Find the components of the angular momentum. Okay, now what we will do, we will solve the second portion. So, show that if the particle moves only in the xy plane, then the angular momentum has only a z component. Okay, so if the particle is moving in the xy plane, that means, so I'll write here, if the particle moves in xy plane, yes, what happens is your z will be equal to 0, and the momentum along the z direction also will become equal to 0. So in these three component equations, you substitute the value of z equal to 0 and p z equal to 0. So what will you get? Lx and Ly both will become equal to 0. As a consequence, what happens is Lx and Ly, okay, Lx and Ly will become equal to 0, and you will be left with only Lz. So that is equal to xpy minus ypx. So what is the final angular momentum? So your final angular momentum will be L vector is equal to k cap, okay, only because only z component is left, no? So k cap into xpy minus ypx. Okay, so hence proved. So that is what they are asked us to prove, that whether if the particle is moving in the xy plane only, then the angular momentum has only z component. Okay, so that is what we have proved. The next question is 7.7. Two particles, each of mass m and speed v, travel in opposite directions along parallel lines separated by a distance d. Show that a vector angular momentum of the two particle system is the same whatever be the point about which the angular momentum is taken. So basically here we have to calculate the angular momentum and prove that the angular momentum does not depend upon which point we are considering. Okay, from which point we are considering, the system, the angular momentum of the system remains the same. So how to find out the angular momentum of the system? So you have your x component and your y component, sorry, y axis, and we have a particle of mass, let us say m1, and imagine this is moving in the negative y direction. We have another particle whose mass is m2, and this is moving in the positive y direction. Now why did we choose this? Because in the question it's given each of mass m, speed v, travel in opposite directions, okay, along parallel lines separated by a distance d. Okay, so this is separated by a distance d. So later we will substitute that m1 equal to m2 equal to m. So I'll write it here. m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m. So, and similarly v1 and v2 also we can leave it, no problem. So here this is equal to d. This distance is equal to x. Okay, let this be the origin. So the total angular momentum about O. So we'll find out the total angular momentum about point O. L vector is equal to L1 vector plus L2 vector. What is L1 vector? That is the angular momentum of the first particle, and L2 vector is the angular momentum of the second particle. So we can write L1 as R1 vector cross P vector, P1 vector, plus, okay, L2 can be written as R2 vector cross P2 vector. Okay, so what is R1 and R2? R1 and R2 are the position vectors of particles M1 and M2. Okay, so the position of M1 is x distance from the origin, and position of M2 is x plus d distance from the origin. Okay, so we will write L vector is equal to x into I cap. Okay, that is the position of the first particle. Then what about the momentum? So mass into velocity. Momentum is mass into velocity. So here your object is going in the negative y direction. So what will we write? So this will be cross minus mv into j cap. Okay, so this will be your L1. Then plus, similarly you will be getting x plus d into I cap. Okay, and then cross, you will be getting I cap cross this thing mv into j cap. Okay, so this is what is your equation. This we have to simplify. So when you simplify this, what will you get? So this is I cross j. Now what is I vector cross j vector? I vector cross j vector is equal to k vector. Okay, so what will we get? L is equal to minus mvx into k cap. Okay, so this term plus here you will be getting mvx into k cap plus mvd into k cap. Okay, so this is what will be your final answer. So these two terms will get cancelled. So L vector is clearly mvd and k cap. Now you can see from this that whatever axis you are going to choose, whether you are going to choose from the point O, or whether you are going to fix this as the origin or this as the origin or any other point as the origin, the angular momentum will not change, because the angular momentum is dependent upon the mass, the velocity and the d. D is what? D is the distance between the two particles. Now this is not going to change no matter what axis you are going to consider, what origin you are going to consider. This distance will not change. Okay, so angular momentum remains as a constant. That is what we have to prove. So see, here they have given whatever be the point about which the angular momentum is taken. So we have to prove that the angular momentum remains a constant. Okay, so that is it for this video. Thank you.